shoes off talk. If I sent you guys the info, this is Mr. Jerry Hairston Jr., 2009 New York Yankees World Series champion,
All right.
and one of my closest, dearest friends. I've had an opportunity while he was playing to be able to travel to some different cities and see him do his thing. Man, I couldn't be more proud of him and his accomplishments on the field, but I'm even more proud of what he has done as a father and a man in the community and
From
with
Chicago,
his
too.
children. Yeah, Chicago guy. Hold on. First of all, he ain't really like a real Chicago guy because he roots for all the other teams. No, I'm just
Oh, like
kidding.
me, like the Cubs.
No.
I'm a Cubs fan. Like the Bears, I like my Bulls.
That's right.
Jerry.
I'm a Bears fan, Bulls fan. I grew up a White Sox fan.
Same. I grew up a White Sox fan, but then I got converted. I flipped. Went to the real team, the Cubs. That's right.
Oh,
But
God.
y'all know that that's not socially acceptable in Illinois to be able to flip from a Chicago Cubs fan to a White Sox. You can only get away with that when you leave the city. You couldn't do that living in Chicago.
I'm in Arizona.
Exactly. My point exactly. So, Jerry, talk about some of the stuff you have going on.
Well, I just got done doing the post-game show for the Dodgers. I've been doing Dodgers TV the last 10 years. I retired after the 2013 season. It's been 10 years now since I haven't been on the field.
Nice.
I played 16 years in the big leagues. My grandfather played. My dad played. My uncle played. My grandfather was the first black player to play with the Chicago White Sox. He played in the Negro Leagues. Played against Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, Cool Papa Bell, W. Duty Ratcliffe, so many legends back in the day. And I just grew up around the game, love the game of baseball. I love all sports. And I failed to mention my brother Scott. My brother Scott also played in the big leagues for 10 years. So we were very fortunate to have 5 family members playing in Major League Baseball. We weren't the most talented. We weren't the fastest, the strongest, the biggest, but we had a passion for the game, and the game was great to us.
I love the fact that you have a connection to the Negro Leagues. My grandfather also played. He played for the Birmingham Barracudas. So I have that connection as well. So, man, hey, that's what's up.
That's
What's
awesome.
crazy is I first met Jerry. What's that? Lifetime Fitness.
Lifetime. Yep.
Lifetime Fitness, and what was that? Had to be.
I was giving you buckets on the basketball court. You're like, Jerry, I thought you were just a baseball player. I go, bro, I hooped back in the
my God.
Hold on.
he was making it rain.
So, Jerry, I love him to death. And the one thing I can say about Jerry is he's well rounded when it comes to sports. He is pretty good in basketball. He's goes without saying what he does on the baseball field.
Used to be pretty good at basketball. I don't play basketball anymore.
At this point I'm talking in our age bracket now. Like,
Oh.
like in our age bracket. Yeah, I used to be really good. But now I stick to the half court at EOS 3-on-3, limit my
Keep it
movements.
simple.
Yeah, keep it simple. But the one thing that I can say, I had a conversation the other day with one of he's like my brother, my little brother, which is Ray Allen. And how me and Ray Allen know each other is that I was stationed at Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina where his dad was stationed. And Walter, which is Ray's dad, used to say, hey, on the military base, you had to be a certain age to get in the gym. You couldn't be in the gym by yourself. And so Walt, whenever he would work late or whatever, I would go grab Ray, bring him to the gym. And so he kind of grew up as my little bro, and we always had stayed in touch. His mom, I can call her to this day and not say a word. It's like, hey, son, That's the closest that we have. And so I reached out to Ray the other day to get him to come on the show, and he was like, um, I actually was gonna be in Miami because I just came back from the DR, and he was like, "Hey, I'd love to meet up with you, but I'm going golfing with MJ." And it's crazy because when you're close to these guys,
Yeah.
you don't you forget like their stardom and who they are, their celebrity. And when he said MJ, I'm like a little kid. I'm like, so then I talked to Jerry today. I said, Jerry, yeah, I hit Ray up to be on the show. I was trying to get both of you guys on the show. He went in to tell me that, he's either you played against Ray before or no, you were supposed to play with
Golf.
MJ. With
Yeah.
MJ, and then something happened during COVID where he didn't show up. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to connect them three: Ray, MJ, and Jerry, and that is going to be open mic night. We need to have mics on the golf course for that. But Jerry, what did you say? What was your response when I said, "Hey, I need to get you on the golf course with MJ and Ray"?
Well, I was supposed to play golf with MJ in Arizona, in Scottsdale. So I live in Scottsdale. I go back and forth Scottsdale and LA. During COVID, I know he knows Ben Herman really well. Ben owns Silverleaf Golf Club in Scottsdale, and I knew he was going to come out to Silverleaf, and we have a mutual friend, and he was going to come out and play golf. So I said, I would love to tag along, but something happened. It was during the basketball season, and I remember that when COVID was going on, things were crazy. He couldn't get away, so that never materialized. But you mentioned Ray Allen playing golf with MJ. I'm up for it, bro. Anytime those two, I know Ray is really good. I'm a 5 handicap. Okay, maybe a 4. But I'm going to try to get as many strokes as I can. I think Ray, I heard, is around a 2, 3, or 4 in that ballpark, and I know MJ's somewhere in the neighborhood. So I would love to play golf with those guys and just hear the trash talking. With MJ, the last time I saw him was at his party. He had an MVP party at a Super Bowl years ago, and he played baseball. And he got really close with my grandfather. I mentioned my grandfather, Sam. He played in the Negro Leagues, and he was the first black player to play with Chicago White Sox. Well, he also became a scout and then a coach. And later on in life, he became a coach for the Birmingham Barons. One year, Michael Jordan was playing baseball for the Birmingham Barons. And my grandfather was on the coaching staff. He really connected with my grandfather because my grandfather will tell MJ stories about Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson and all those legendary Negro League ball players that MJ's dad used to tell MJ. And obviously about Hank Aaron. So a lot of the heroes that MJ had, he had his heroes on the basketball court, but he also had a lot of heroes on the baseball field. And MJ will say it, he grew up thinking, 10, 12, 13 years of age that he was going to be a baseball player.
Yeah.
That was his dream. Yeah. And then obviously we know he shot up to be, the greatest basketball player of all time. So I think he made the right decision to go play basketball.
Yeah.
But he played baseball. That was not a fluke thing. This is what he wanted to do. And he worked extremely hard of being a Major League Baseball player. He was on a mission. So much so that my grandfather would tell him, "Hey, man, you need to slow down a little bit because you're going to burn yourself out for the game." He'd get there at noon, take massive BP on the field, early BP. Then he'll do flips, go get something to eat, get something in his system, go right back out for batting practice. And he would do it over and over and over again. By the time the game time would start at 7 o'clock, it almost like he would be too tired to play the game. But he was doing so much, or at least trying to catch up, because he hasn't played baseball in all those years. So that wasn't a thing that he just did. He was sincere of trying to be a Major League Baseball player. And here's, I'm going to tell you another thing. If the Major League Baseball strike does not happen in 95 in spring training, Michael Jordan probably doesn't come back to basketball because he was focusing on being a Major League Baseball player. So the strike happens. MJ wasn't going to cross the picket line, right? So he had time on his hands. He started talking, hanging around with B.J. Armstrong in Chicago, started going to a couple practices, and then boom, he makes a comeback to play basketball.
Yeah.
That's how it happened.
And history is written. Then there's 3 additional championships. And it's so crazy because that's always the topic of discussion, and this leads into a segment that me and Jerry, we always talk about, and that's that GOAT debate. And you have so many people that, I say it like this: there's so many bitter people when it comes to MJ when you talk about the GOAT debate, to where they say some of the most outlandish things, like had Michael not left to go to baseball, Houston would have gotten them during those championship years.
Can I stop you right there? There is nobody who respects Michael Jordan more than Hakeem Olajuwon. Go back and listen to what Hakeem Olajuwon has to say about Michael Jordan. He even talks to him about being a lion. Hakeem Olajuwon is talking about MJ being a lion, meaning like if you're in a jungle somewhere and you see that lion, you wouldn't make any sudden movements. You wouldn't go poke the lion, okay? Because you don't want that smoke. Think about that for a second. Hakeem Olajuwon saying that about Michael Jordan. So when they were asked about the GOAT debate, Hakeem Olajuwon said there is no comparison. He said LeBron James is a great player. Of course he's a great player. I mean, you'd have to be stupid not to say that. He's an incredible player. One of the best athletes I've ever seen, not just a basketball player. But as far as skill set, his drive, determination, work ethic, to go along Michael Jordan with his athleticism in a much tougher league, because you could handshake, get knocked to the ground. They wouldn't call. There was no flagrant fouls back then.
That was a flagrant foul now is a common foul back then.
Oh my God! You know what I'm saying? So again, that's Hakeem Olajuwon talking. So when anybody talks about I don't like to play the if game. I don't like to play the if game. But there's 2 guys that have the utmost respect for Michael Jordan. That's Hakeem Olajuwon and another guy who had to guard him, Vernon Maxwell. Vernon Maxwell was that dude. He was a dog. Did not back down from nobody. Go see what Vernon Maxwell has to say about MJ. He even said, bro, I know I try to get under his skin because I try to, get him off his game, but bro, he stayed giving me buckets. He was the toughest I've ever seen on the basketball court. That's from Vernon Maxwell. So again, I know they talk about the GOAT because that is the thing. It used to be, who's going to be the next Jordan? Is it going to be Grant Hill? Is it going to be Kobe? Is it going to be LeBron? Now is it going to be Luka? Now is it going to be that kid from France? Bruh, what MJ did, 10 scoring titles, defensive player of the year, the only man in history, only NBA player in history to have over 200 steals and 100 blocks in a season. He did that twice, bruh. Twice. Defensively and offensively. You go back to what Jerry West talks about. You go back and hear Shaq talk. You go back and hear Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. Freaking Larry Bird, bro, before Jordan even won his championships. This is his second year in the league after he broke his foot. Called him God in gym shoes, bro. Larry Bird called another player God, bro.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
So, no disrespect to LeBron. Incredible player, man. What he's done, unbelievable. No disrespect to Kobe. No disrespect to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. My eyes, I've been watching basketball from 84 to today. I have never seen a guy get on a basketball court and say, I'm going to go guard Reggie Miller. I'm going to go guard Magic Johnson. I'm going to go guard their best player. I'm going to shut you down. And then, by the way, I'm going to drop 40 on you.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop 40 on you, by the way. He started on the defensive end, bro. So everybody says, well, Pippen guarded the best player. That's a lie. Pippen was an unbelievable defender. MJ guarded Clyde Drexler. MJ guarded Magic Johnson. MJ guarded Reggie Miller. MJ guarded all their scorers. Because that's how insane he was.
He was like 9-time all defensive team as well?
9 times, bro. 9 times.
Like that, and that's why I said, piggybacking off what you said, it's like I get into these debates on social media, and a lot of these guys are just armchair basketball players, not to discredit their games or any of that, but a lot of times when you talk basketball, like I could talk basketball with Jerry without getting my feelings involved.
Yeah.
Because we actually play back, we actually talk about the game, and we have bias and unbiased, but that never gets in the way of when you're talking facts, like indelible facts. And he's been associated with a lot of big names in the NBA, and I've been associated with a lot of big names in the NBA. And resoundingly, they all say the same thing about who the GOAT is. Like
Michael Jordan, they say it's Michael Jordan and then it's Kobe.
Yeah,
That's what they all say. They all say that.
And
when they say that, I talked to a couple NBA guys that have played against all three of them, or have played against Kobe and LeBron. They always say, "Hey, no disrespect to LeBron, he's unbelievable." But they always say, "Bro, do you understand? I had to freaking chase down Kobe Bryant for 45 minutes, 48 minutes. Do you understand? Like, I lost sleep over that, bro." They're talking about Kobe. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't lose sleep. He goes, "So, bro, I don't care what." Because the game has changed with load management, and then now you can't touch anybody. You have freedom of movement, so everybody's scoring 40 points now. Everybody.
40, 50 a point.
Everybody's
That's 40 or 50 a game for Mike and Kobe.
Exactly. So again, if you talk to those guys that are actually on the floor with all those guys, they go, "Bro, it's MJ and it's Kobe, bro." Allen Iverson says it. Ray Allen says it. Even Shaq goes, Shaq, who played with LeBron and Kobe, shuts it down. Always says it's MJ, bro. Then it's Kobe. Why are we disregarding Kobe? This is Shaq.
That's funny because that's what AI said. It's like y'all talking about MJ and LeBron. Did y'all forget about the Mamba? Did y'all? And what's crazy is Kobe was a pupil of MJ, and I firmly agree. Following the game of basketball my whole life and being associated with the people, it is literally Mike, Kobe, and there is a gap in between that two and the next three. It's not like Mike and Kobe is like this. Then there's like a gap right here to the number three.
And you guys know basketball. You guys know. Remember, MJ and Kobe, they played in the triangle offense, meaning they all shared the basketball. But their number one thing, before the shots or whatever, and scoring, their number one thing is defense. That was their number one thing. I'm going to lock whoever, I'm going to lock them down. I just saw the Redeem team a few months ago, right? Coach K, first practice, Kobe Bryant, doesn't talk about offense, doesn't about who's going to get the ball. He goes, whoever that other team's best player, I got it. First thing he told Coach K, defense. That's the mentality. And we've gone away because of the triple-double, and you got to get stats now.
Everybody's shooting
and
threes.
Everybody, he's got a triple-double now. He must have. Bro, back in the day, I know we're aging ourselves. You did your work on the defensive end first. Yeah. And then the defense translates to offense, the movement of the offense.
Oh, if you didn't play defense back in the day, you really weren't getting much playing time.
Yep.
Because that's just the way we grew up playing the game. It was like, and I don't know how. Still, I'm 53 years old, and I get on the court now, even in my 3-on-3. I can't take credit for hitting 5 buckets when my man got 4 right up on it. Like that bothers me. That bothers me. And when did we have such an era where we celebrating somebody scoring points and they take an L?
Right.
Like when do we celebrate scoring and you take an L? Like it's this new wave of basketball. It's all reality TV. It's all a show. And that was the one thing. Like when we talk about MJ, the one thing that I wish MJ would have done more of, and I know a lot of people did, was to use his platform more in the black community. But MJ, it was basketball first. Mm-hmm. It was basketball first, and that's my only thing is that I wish he would.
The thing is, remember, Tim, no athlete in the history of being an athlete has given more money to causes than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's number one. Now, again, he wasn't as vocal because I guess that's it. Face and say, "Hey, look at me! I'm giving $10 million here. Look at me! I'm giving $10 million over here, or $2 million." he wasn't that guy. And it was been somebody in his circle recently say, hey man, you need to put this out there that you're doing it. He didn't want anybody to know this. You know what I'm saying? But again, it is well documented that nobody has given more money to causes than Michael Jordan. So that in itself is misconstrued. A lot of people don't know that. But go back and do the numbers. No athlete, I'm not talking about basketball player, no athlete has given more money to charity than Michael Jordan, and that is a fact.
Wow. Well, the one thing that everybody remembers is when he said, when he made that comment about what did he say, Republicans or Democrats buy tennis shoes too. What was that comment that? And I think
Well,
that
he said it on the bus, and it was in just it was a joke, and then somebody ran with it.
yeah,
We
yeah.
say stuff all the time.
That's the
So,
one thing. When people are trying to look for kinks in your armor, they're gonna reach and grab anything that may show either a sign of weakness or that could separate you from your glory or you make it history. So
That's those haters we were talking about.
yeah, that it really is those haters. But Jerry, you guys see how when we talked about baseball, he's a little passionate. But we talk about basketball.
Oh, man. Back and forth.
That's Encyclopedia Brown right there. That's Encyclopedia Brown. But
Well enough.
Jerry also has a son that is killing it on. Let us know what's going on for the next generation of Hairston.
well, I got a son Jackson. He's a center fielder at Desert Mountain. He can play the infield too. He's a really good athlete. He's really starting to come into his own as a player. Switch hitter, could run. Is really starting to develop great bat to ball skills. I'm doing the baseball lingo. The talent is definitely there. It's up to him to continue to get better and better. Like I said, he's only a junior in high school, but he's off to a pretty good start so far. They've had kind of equivalent of spring training games. I think they have 4 so far. But he looks great on the field, made some incredible defensive plays. He's got a passion for the game of baseball, works extremely hard. 4.1 GPA, which I'm extremely proud of him, making sure
Excellent.
education is the most important because it gives you options.
Yes.
So,
Unlimited options.
he's a great kid, very proud of him. And I got 2 other daughters. One's a volleyball player. And the other one's a softball player. So they're all 3 different sports.
He has
They're good
he's
kids.
raising some athletes, and I can attest. I'm uncle to his kids, low key, but he has some amazing kids, and you can tell. How they say the apples don't fall far from the tree. Jerry's family is really a close knit family. You can see the interaction with his kids when he's around them, and I think when we talk about the Black community, we don't give those fathers that may not necessarily be in the home. We don't give them the credit of what they do when they're outside of the household. But Jerry is the epitome of what you think of when it comes to fathers that are more than actively involved in their kids. So we definitely want to applaud you as a father and the things that you have going on, and to be able to juggle. Jerry lives between LA and Phoenix. He has a home here, and just to piggyback off of what I said about being that kind of father, he has his home here for him and his kids. When the season's not going on, he has them. When it's going on, he has them out there, and then come here. So he's the epitome of understanding that family is first.
Absolutely. I learned that from my dad, and he learned that from his father. And like you mentioned, I'm glad you mentioned that, Tim, because there are so many great fathers in our community. So many, and it's not applauded. It's not in the forefront. We always hear about the negative stuff.
Yeah.
We need to hear more about the positive stuff, because there are plenty of fathers who are just being fathers, man, because that's their lineage. That's their family. And there's tremendous examples of that. And we talk about the GOAT conversation. Michael Jordan raised 3 incredible children. We know about Kobe, rest in peace, incredible kids. You can see that the kids were loved when he was alive. And you can see LeBron, incredible father to his kids. So again, for them, it's not hard. It's really hard being in the limelight. And obviously they're raised the right way. But those are incredible examples. We need more examples because they're out there, but they need to be more put out in the forefront because there's tremendous fathers out there for their kids.
Well, we'd like to thank you, Mr. Harrison, for coming on Shoes Off Talk. It's been a pleasure. We definitely will have you back on. We hope to be able to pair you with Ray. You know, he told me that he'll send over his schedule and we kind of get with your schedule. That way we can kind of talk some golf and other things. A lot of people don't know that I played basketball professionally, but I was better at baseball. I was on all kind of all-star teams and everything. So that's the closest we have, you know, with my love of baseball as well as his love of basketball. So once again, I want to thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure. We look forward to having you back. And I actually will see. Am I going to see you tomorrow?
You're not going to see me tomorrow. I got to be in LA to do the show, but hey, enjoy the Cubs-Dodger game.
So
it's on me. You guys have fun.
Jerry left me tickets for the Cubs-Dodgers game tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I didn't leave them tickets, but you know they know I'll take care of them. They know I got them. But Jerry, have a good rest of your day, and once again, man, thank you for coming on Shoes Off Talk. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anytime.